What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. This month, Sephora has blessed us, or perhaps, I'm not sure yet, I haven't decided, perhaps they have cursed us with a surprise extra week of their VIB Rouge 20% off sale. It's 20% if you're VIB Rouge. If you're regular VIB, it starts the next week. It's 15%, just like they usually do in the other parts of the year. They just added an extra week of this in the interim. First of all, they could have warned me. My wallet literally just stopped screaming. You guys seem to love when I make a little suggestions video, and I don't think I blame you because I love like little reminders of what the people I watch really liked over the last few months, so it makes sense. This time my list is entirely makeup except for one little fragrance item that I threw in there just because I'm really loving it. I feel like a lot of these are not going to be a huge surprise to you guys because I make it pretty clear when I love specific items. So usually when I do these videos, I list all the items down below and link to where you can find them on the Sephora website. They are affiliate links, just so you know. It doesn't really change anything I think of it because I can link anything from Sephora that way, so it doesn't really sway my opinion one way or another, just so you're aware. But this time I'm going to add something more in the description box. If I have done a video on a specific item, I will link that video underneath the item name and the link to it on the Sephora website. So if you want to watch my full review of it, it's very convenient for you right down there in the description box. I just thought that would be a helpful addition to these types of videos. Let me know what you think in a comment down below if you think that's helpful or not. I would appreciate your feedback. Also, I thought this tank top from Forever 21 was really cute, and now that I'm seeing it on camera, I feel like it looks like I'm wearing a bathing suit, but you know what? We're already here. I'm excited for this list actually because sometimes when I make these lists, I feel like everything that I have to suggest is very basic or very day-to-day, but this time I feel like my list is like colorful and exciting and glittery. Before we get into it, please don't forget to leave a like on this video if you don't mind taking a second to do that because it helps me and I appreciate it and I love your little face for it. And if you are somewhat new around here, you've been clicking through a few videos and you haven't yet committed to subscribing to my channel, I would love to implore you to do so because you know what? I tell you things like the completely hypothetical fact that I may or may not have shut off my air conditioner because it was annoying me and blowing my hair around on camera. But now I'm getting a lot of butt sweat. You guys don't need to know that, but I tell it anyway. And if that's not a reason to subscribe, then I don't know what is. Also, I forgot to turn my lights on, so I'm a mess. Neither of those things are reasons to subscribe, but perhaps you'll find them convincing anyway. I think that is all we need to talk about before we get into this list. So let's just jump in and start with the eyeshadow palettes that I think that you would be remiss not to buy at the Sephora sale. All right, put the lights on, so we're down to business now. And the first item on this list, usually I would not include something that I've only had for a week or two, but I'm gonna make a little exception today. And that item is the Jackie Aina ABH eyeshadow palette. The reason I'm putting this in here is actually because one of you brilliant viewers of mine left a comment on my 3 looks video with this palette and said that you are going to wait for this sale to pick up this palette. And the reason I wanted to include it, although I haven't had it for an extended period of time, is because I do really like this palette, but I thought that that was such a good point and a good idea that if you're going to make the leap and buy like a hyped up new product, it's smart to do it when you have a 20% off coupon. And this is a hyped up product that I think I can really get behind. But I've also been using it pretty much every day in my day-to-day life since then. I'm wearing it on my eyes right now with just a little bit of ColourPop Ladybird Super Shock shadow just in the middle, just to brighten up a little bit. I've been living in this palette. So I'm fairly confident that it will be a good investment for you guys and it is a good opportunity for you to try something new and hyped up with the 20% off. So I think it's fair to put this on the list. Personally, I think this is a great assortment of colors. I really like that it's color but not like too over the top color. I think it's a good day-to-day palette for a color lover, if that makes sense. Like, I love wearing colorful shadows, but I don't always want to be wearing neons like to go to the store. but I also don't want to be wearing just straight up neutrals most of the time. And this is a really good interim for that. And I've been really loving the color Zam as a wash of shimmer over my lids. Even just by itself, it just brightens up the lid area. You don't really need to add anything else to it and just gives you like a little bit of polish. I think it's high quality. I think it's versatile. I think it's well thought out. I like the packaging. I like everything about it. And so therefore, if you could get 20% off on it, I think that's a great idea. The next two palettes are not going to be a surprise to any of you because I have been on an absolute Melt Cosmetics kick lately. First one being the Smoke Sessions palette. I got this when they re-released it this year. So I snatched it up on the second round and I fell in love with it. I absolutely love this palette so much. You do not need to be a marijuana enthusiast to enjoy this palette whatsoever, by the way. I know I've heard a lot of people say they're like really tired of weed themed makeup, and I get that, but the colors in here are just, they're divine. You do not need to be into that theme to enjoy the shades in this palette. I really like that there is a variety of greens that are both warm and cool toned. You don't really see that very often in a palette next to each other. And I think it makes for a lot of really interesting combinations. I love this palette, and I surprisingly, for an all greens palette, get a lot of use out of it. I also love how slim and sleek the packaging on this is. If you like green shadows, I really don't think there's any way you can go wrong with this. My only minor complaint with this palette is that there aren't really any matte transition shades, so it makes it a little bit difficult. You could definitely just use your bronzer as a transition and it's not a big deal, or a color from any other palette. But if it had something like that, I think it would have been absolutely perfect. And again, no surprise here, the Melt Impulsive palette. Let me tell you something, okay? If you're looking forward to fall makeup, this is your girl right here, okay? Don't pay so much attention to this side for this portion of it, but look at those tones. If that's not fall, I don't know what is. You can literally turn your eyes into a caramel apple with this palette, and I have. These colors are absolutely stunning. This half of the palette is phenomenal. I think this is my favorite half, but this side over here is fantastic too because it's a little bit more subdued. You get some blues in there. There are some frosty shades, so you can like really tone it down and use one of the more matte transition-y shades from this side and then just like do a little bit of a pop of a frosty shade on your inner corner and get something really simple with it. For both of these palettes, the formula of Melt eyeshadows is fantastic. It is so good. I can't even I don't know how to describe it. They just work so well, and the shimmers, like, they paint on like a thick foil of shimmeriness. Another thing I've noticed about the Melt palettes is that the fallout is incredibly minimal, like especially considering the level of pigment that you get. I don't think I have any other shadows that are so pigmented with so little fallout. So if you're somebody who really hates getting fallout underneath your eyes, look at the Melt palettes because I really think that you'll be shocked at how little fallout you get, even though they are just like, they're just packed full of pigment. I don't really know how it works. I'm not really up on makeup development, makeup science in that way, but whatever they're doing something right. This next item is something I've reviewed before as well. This is the Stila Suede Shade Liquid Eyeshadows. These are a matte liquid shadow. They call it a matte liquid shadow, but they do have a little bit of luminance to them actually. They give a beautiful suede-like leathery finish on the eyes. They are extremely easy to work with. They are extremely full coverage. They give like a very easy one color eyeshadow look. Like I said, I'll link below the look that I did with this light blue one, but I'll also link it here on the screen because if you haven't seen that, that's one of my favorite looks I've done in a long time. And it was so easy to achieve it with this liquid shadow, and it wears all day long. No problems, doesn't come off, doesn't crumble, nothing. The one thing that I have to say is not my favorite about these is the website makes the colors look so different than they actually are. Bust of Mauve looks like it's going to be really, really light, and it's actually pretty deep, and Something Blue on the website looks like it's going to be a deep blue color, but it's like sky blue. So I don't know what they messed up when they were doing their online swatches, but the colors are not quite what they appear. I really highly suggest looking up swatches that people have done. But if you're looking for like a perfect sky blue eyeshadow shade, and I know that's very trendy right now, so maybe you are, something blue is a perfect powdery light blue. A few of you guys asked me if I thought it leaned a little bit more toward periwinkle. It does have a little hint of a purple undertone, but I wouldn't say that it's all the way into the periwinkle category. I would definitely still categorize it as a light blue, but both of them are absolutely stunning and I cannot recommend this formula enough. The next item is a little bit less colorful and exciting, but it's something that I have used literally every single day since I bought it. I tried it out right here on camera for the first time and I have since used it, I think, in every single episode of my Get Ready With Me. You will see me apply this while I do my base. I think I've mentioned this before, but I use this in two different ways. Sometimes when I use this, I use it just by itself and use it to contour my face and leave it at that. On days when I want to be a little bit more snatched, a little bit more structured, I use this first and then go in with a powder contour over top of it. That's what I did today. I just find that the color of this is like right in that area where you could use it as either a contour or a bronzer, at least for my like more neutral fair-ish skin tone. Like I could run it around the edges of my forehead just to warm up my skin, or I could put it in my contour areas and it doesn't look too ashy or too orange on either place respectively. So it's like that right in the middle, like that perfect brown tone, like that delicious, ooh, what's on your face, you look good, but I can't really put my finger on it, that kind of a brown. I also find that it wears really well, even though it's a cream, and if you put powder over it, bitch, let me tell you, your contour is not going anywhere. And I think that we can confirm that this will last you quite a while, because literally I use this every single time I wear makeup for the most part. Like I really don't ever skip it. And I've had it for several months now and I just barely hit pan on it. So a little goes a long way. I've had a few of you guys, when I use this, ask if it is scented like the other Huda skin products are, and it's not. There's absolutely no scent to this whatsoever that I can discern. It smells like, to be honest, if you like get really up in there, it smells a little bit like plastic, but that's most makeup products if you really put your nose in there and sniff around. But as far as added fragrance and how it smells when you put it on, it doesn't smell like anything at all, which is fantastic because I don't really like the smell that they are putting in the other Huda foundation products and stuff like that. I just don't get it. Like, why? All right, the next product, this is the one random non-makeup product that I'm throwing into this video, but I can't help it because I am a little bit in love with this scent. This is the Sol de Janeiro Brazilian Crush Body Splash. Is it a splash? A spray? A fragrance mist. That's what they call it. It's all the same. I am obsessed with the smell of Sol de Janeiro products. The specific smell from the Brazilian Bum Bum cream. It's so good. The problem is that I personally have to use very specific body creams a lot of the time because I have to use the ones that deal the best with my eczema. And I don't like talking about my eczema because it's unpleasant and gross and I don't like dealing with it. But that's the truth. And unfortunately, these days I've been having that issue quite a lot. Somebody told me that Brazilian Crush spray is the exact same scent as the Brazilian Bum Bum cream. So I purchased the Brazilian Crush spray. It's divine. It's divine. I don't know how a scent can smell both clean and creamy at the same time, but somehow this does. It smells so good, you guys. It's like they describe it as pistachio and caramel and vanilla or something, but to me, it smells like, I get the pistachio, but like also it smells like fresh laundry, but also vanilla. I don't know. It's all of the things I want to smell like all in one. Like it makes me feel so clean, but also like warm and inviting. I don't know how to describe it. I want to wear this for a night out because it is a body spray and I do feel like there's a discernible difference between the way a body spray smells on the skin and a perfume. I do prefer a perfume for when I'm like going out and being glam and getting dressed, but like if I come home after the gym, take a quick shower and I want to feel together, I spray this all over me and I just feel like the freshest daisy that ever walked the earth. It makes me feel really good. I know that scent is really subjective, so maybe if you're not sure, try to sniff it in the store first, but I just can't imagine how anybody wouldn't like this, honestly. This next item is also fairly recent for me, but Oh my god, I am obsessed with it. This is the new Anastasia Beverly Hills Loose Setting Powder in the color Vanilla. I have been using this every day. I think this might be the best setting powder I've ever used. And you guys know I have been obsessed with the Hourglass one for the longest time, and I still really love that powder. But I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I think this one is better. I think it's more brightening. Definitely has better staying power than the Hourglass one. When I tested this, when I first bought it, like in the video, I had mentioned that it's like 3 times the size of the Hourglass one. And I was like, oh, it's huge. One of you pointed out that it's not actually huge, that the Hourglass one is just super tiny. Even so, for me, that's a huge improvement because the Hourglass one is more expensive and it's super tiny, and I think this one is better. I generally don't like bake my whole face, but like I've been baking my whole face, just like a brief bake though, like easy bake oven style, you know, like a quick bake. I just like the way this makes my skin look. I love the finish it gives me, and my makeup has been wearing so well and it's been sitting so nice. It doesn't crease as much and it's not heavy. It just brushes away and brightens, and I actually think I want to try the translucent one as well because I can't use this to set my entire face because of the vanilla color, but with a translucent one I think I could, so I think I'm gonna have to go get that. But if you've been looking for a really good setting powder that doesn't make your makeup look heavy even if you put on a shit ton of it, this is so good. It photographs really well up close too, if that's something you're concerned about. I haven't noticed any flashback, but I don't usually take too many flash photos, so I'm not 100% positive that it's flashback proof. I think the price is pretty good on this, and honestly, out of the 2 new complexion products that Anastasia launched, this and the foundation, I think this is the standout. I know that the foundation is getting all of the press right now, but this loose setting powder is my compliments to the chef, and the chef this time is probably Norvina. The next item I've been loving is the Urban Decay Waterproof Perversion Liquid Liner Pen. I always say I like a brush tip better than I like a felt tip, and so this is right up my alley. I've been finding that this is very, very similar to the Kat Von D tattoo liner, except that it doesn't dry out as quickly. But I've had this Perversion one from Urban Decay for quite a few months now, and it still gives me perfect black lines with no problem. It is not clogged up at all. I did bend a couple of the hairs back because I didn't put the cap back on carefully enough. But outside of that, it's been several months and it's still going strong. I do suggest if you get one of these, or if you get any brush tip eyeliner like this, when you store it kind of sitting like this on your desk, like in a cup or something. It does help prevent the bristles from drying out. A lot of you guys probably already know this because I bitch about it all the time, but I have really, really watery eyes. And I've noticed that this liner in particular holds up really well to my watery eye ass bitch problems. The only other liner that has held up as well to my watery eyes is the Benefit Roller Liner, which I also really, really like. But it is a felt tip, and it's a really good felt tip. It's one of the best felt tips I've ever used. But if I had a choice between the felt tip and the brush tip, I would still choose the brush. You know what I mean? Next item is also from Urban Decay. These are the Heavy Metal Glitter Gels. I did a whole video about this collection when it came out. I am in love with these as a formula. Like I said in the video that I did about them, I used to use gel glitters like back in the day from Ricky's NYC, but they weren't quite as good quality as these, but the concept has always been something that I like. A couple of you guys mentioned to me in a comment or a couple DMs and said that you used it and you put on as much as I did and you got a little bit of fallout from it. And what I have noticed is that if you put it on like in like a big blob, it does kind of fall out throughout the day. And I think the reason for that is because you need to kind of like spread it over the skin in order to have the gel like keep the glitter adhered to your eye. So when I did those looks, I did it in layers. Like I put it on and then I built it up to be more prominent in like a certain spot. So I think the key is that if you want a very heavy glitter look with these, to know going in that you need to layer them over each other. But when I do it like that, when I layer it on top of itself and build up to that glitter intensity, oh my god, they are the only glitter that I've ever had that doesn't fall all over my face with that much glitter on. Do you know what I mean? These have worn so well for me, but just know that when you put them on, if you want a high intensity amount of glitter, it's best to kind of work in thinner layers and build it up to that intensity rather than just like going in with a thick blob of it and then trying to spread it out, because you can do that with this because it is like really concentrated, but it just won't necessarily wear as well throughout the day. So I recommend doing little layers. But besides the convenience, there are a few more reasons that I absolutely love these. One of them being that although these are incredibly chunky glitters, they are all eye safe. So you can put them on your eyes and not worry about it, not worry about them getting in there and scratching your corneas when you're removing your makeup, which nobody wants that. That's not fun, and nobody wants a cornea scratch. So I was very, very happy to see that we can use these on our eyeballs and not worry about it. And the other reason that I love them is because they are so like multi-dimensional and layered. Like none of them are just boring glitter. Like even Daydream, this one that looks like it's entirely silver, it is entirely silver, but it has different sizes of glitter in there. It just gives such a subtle nuance on the eye, and it's just so pretty. Since I've gotten them, I've used them in about, I don't know, 273 looks videos probably. Like I literally just never put them down. You guys are probably sick of hearing about them by now, but I think they're that good. And last but not least is also another brow product, and I do like it in my brows, and I have reviewed it and enjoyed it for my brows quite a bit, but that is not why I'm including it in this video today. This is the Urban Decay Brow Blade. The one I'm holding is the shade Brunette Betty. I absolutely love this product for creating fake freckles and for filling in my moles. Brunette Betty is a really good freckle shade in my opinion, but there's obviously a variety of different shades as well. If you need a deeper shade, Dark Drapes would probably be a good freckle shade on somebody with a deeper skin tone than I have. But literally, I'll do it right now just to show you guys an example. Like I just go very lightly over my nose area and just dot on a couple of freckles and just pat over them with my finger. It's like the easiest faux freckles in the entire world. But this is meant to be a very long wearing brow stain, so it wears all day. The only thing that takes it off prematurely is my glasses. Glasses marks just rub everything right off, right down to my bare skin, so there's just no stopping that. It looks pretty natural. Like obviously most faux freckles don't look insanely natural if you look up close, but it's definitely one of the most natural looking fake freckle products that I've used. I've used Freck before, and a couple of you guys have asked my opinion on Freck. Freck is really good. It's a great product. However, okay, they give you, I'm not kidding, it's a package this big. It's a thimble and it's like $25, $30 or something like that. So it seems a ridiculous amount of money to pay for something like that. And then they did have a Freck XL for a while, and when I went to buy that, because I was like, okay, well that's obviously a better deal, then it was no longer available. But the original one is like just ridiculously too small for me to ever recommend, and I think honestly that this is just as good, if not better, because this definitely wears a lot longer. So those are the recommendations I have today for this unexpected surprise extra week of Rouge 20% off from Sephora. Obviously, this only includes my favorite items from Sephora. There were so many things that I wanted to include, but they weren't available at Sephora, which is so annoying. I wish Sephora would just sell more brands the way that Ulta does, because Ulta has such a better variety at this point. Now, that's all of the products that I have been loving recently, and ones that I'm pretty sure I haven't put in one of these videos before. But if you're looking for more recommendations, or if you're thinking that there are like other categories that I missed that maybe didn't touch on what you need from this sale, I'm going to link all of my previous videos about the VIB Rouge sale down below in the description as well, because all of the products that I mentioned in those videos are still excellent products that I highly recommend. So if you are looking for like a really long list of stuff that you can maybe buy from this sale, then that's where you're gonna find it. I've talked skincare before, I've done some hair care in there before, and obviously I have other makeup palettes and makeup products that are included in those videos that I just didn't put in this one because I didn't want to be repetitive. So if you want to go on a little binge and see what else I would recommend, that will be down there for your convenience. Please leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you're going to be picking up in this sale. Do you have anything that you would recommend to everybody else in the comments? Because I always love it when you guys give each other suggestions and start little conversations down there. It just makes me so happy. You have no idea. Is there a product that you think that I need to pick up in this sale? Because all of this stuff that I've recommended, like clearly I already have it. So I need other things to pick up. Please don't forget to leave a like on this video because it's very helpful to me. And also if you are new around here, don't forget to subscribe because I would love to have you around for future videos. Don't just hang around for us talking about products, stick around to watch them in action too, you know? Also, if you want to keep up with me between videos, I'm at Miss Quinface over on Instagram. You can follow me over there for some behind the scenes on my Instagram stories, polls, PR unboxings, more creative makeup, lip art, all sorts of fun things that you don't want to miss out on. And I would love to have you be part of that little family as well. I think that's all for today. Thank you so much for hanging out and listening to my Sephora VIB sale recommendations. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you found it informative. I hope you found it entertaining, something along those lines. I hope you found something positive out of it anyway. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you always, and I will see you in the next one.